2025 is the 45th anniversary of the greatest and best hobby in the world, Gundam model kits. In that 45 years, Gunpla has exploded into the #1 position as the best and most popular mecha model kit product in the world. At least in my heart it is. I have zero facts or stats to back up that statement. But the fact that they're sold out everywhere all of the time, it definitely does feel that way. Small, big, simple, complex, there's a Gundam model kit out there for everyone. Kits so perfectly designed and engineered that they're an instant masterpiece right out of the box. But it wasn't always that way. This right here is the first ever Gundam model kit. Tribute. What I have right here is the 1/44th scale Best Mecha Collection #4 RX-78-2 Gundam, aka this is a reproduction of the first ever Gundam model kit. Now you might ask me, where the hell did I get this? Because as far as I know, this isn't a normally widely available product. I actually mixed it up with the revival version that came out last year, which is a modern reproduction of the first ever Gundam model kit, just with kind of modern aspects, full color, snaps together out of the box easily. This doesn't do any of that. You need glue. And paint. I'm surprised there's even a model in here. But yeah, as far as I can see, I can trace this back as far as the 35th anniversary of Gunpla, which was 10 years ago, and it was at a shareholders meeting or something. It was given as a gift. I've also seen that sometimes you can get it at the factory. As for this one right here, you might be like, where the hell did you get it though? But I got it in this box. I did a video a little while ago. It was a Yodobashi Camera 2025 New Year's Lucky Bag box. Fukubukuro. This came in there, I didn't expect it to, and I thought this was the revival like I said, but it is not. This is a whole lot of fun, but as for where you can get one, I haven't a notion. But it is a 100% accurate reproduction of the first ever Gundam model kit down to the flash. Maybe the flash is new actually. But yeah, let's bust it open and check out what it's like. So I'm busting open the box. Inside here you get just one color of plastic. That's it. One bag, 2 runners, and that plastic is in a nice kind of greenish hued white. Almost like a really milky, slightly minty kind of color, which is what the white on a Gundam is actually meant to be, believe it or not. At least way back then. No more colors are included in the box, and you do need glue for building this with. I do recommend Tamiya's cement, not the extra thin. The standard cement, it holds a little bit better, but you'll see throughout this I used the extra thin because I was too lazy to go, what I actually counted at the end, 63 steps to go and get it. But yeah, as for the build, it's somewhat similar to what we do nowadays, but a whole lot different. You do snip out the parts just as you would have done before. Cleaning them up does take a little bit more because there is a little bit of flash. I'm not sure if this is the original mold or not, and that's why it's a little bit worn out, or they were just a bit flashy back then. This kit does require glue. It does not stick together out of box. Like I mentioned, I recommend standard plastic cement, and the way it builds up is quite interesting. When it comes to something like the leg, you build the upper leg section, 2 parts just attached together, big seam line down the middle. Then you attach the lower leg onto those, 2 pieces side and side, big seam line down the middle. And then you get to the foot. You can probably guess what happens. 2 pieces, seam line down the middle. Now I will mention when it does come to these seam lines, they are very easy to close. All you have to do is make sure you put in a little bit more cement than you need. That's why I do recommend a thicker cement than the extra thin. It'll bulge out a little bit and then you just let it cure. I didn't do any of that because I'm building this quite quickly. And then you can just sand it off like so and you will end up with no seam line that will look perfect. Just takes a lot of time. It's not difficult, just time consuming. As for the rest of the build, it just goes like this through the whole thing. For example, the body is primarily just 2 parts. That also includes its Gundam diaper. It's all attached together. The articulation on this is extremely limited. But again, this was designed and produced in 1980. The head, again, 2 parts. Predominantly every element of this is 2 parts. The head attached together like so. You recess into the body, close up the body like this. Then you've got the arm, which is the upper arm, 2 pieces. Actually, it's 3 because you've got a little bit of a drum for the joint. Forearm is 2 pieces, hand is 2 pieces, shoulder also 2 pieces, but we do have 2 little parts that attach onto it to lock it together so it can attach into the body. Once you do attach the arms into the body, by the way, I may have forgotten to mention, but the legs are attached into the torso and diaper when you're putting those bits together. Finally, then you just slap the V-fin onto its head. And I will mention, there's nothing like solid for this to actually attach onto. There is no like recessed point for it to go onto. You just kind of have to line it up yourself with a fairly big glob of cement to make sure it doesn't wander off. Finally then, when it does come to the weapons, these are interesting, especially the beam sabers. You get 4 of which in here, 2 which you probably have to snip off to attach into the backpack, but these are just on the absolute edge of the runner. They're all in one color, no nice colored beams in here. The beam rifle also is one piece, the shield is 2 and just attaches together like so. It's a very, I would say, simple build, but the fact that you do actually have to cement all of it, you would have to wait some time for that to cure as well. It does take a little bit longer than your average Gundam model kit, and a lot of it is just waiting. And if you want to close those seams, a lot of it is gluing, or should I say cementing, and sanding. But anyway, there it is. That is what we get in the end. Not a single color on it at all. It's all in white. If you do want it accurate, there's a little bit of a color guide in the manual, or you can paint it whatever custom color you want. As for me, I am a collector, so I want it in its original state. So this is the way it's going to be to kind of slot in with my evolution of Gunpla lineup of RX-78-2s. And there we go, there is the original RX-78-2 Gundam model kit in all of its glory. Again, this is a reproduction, so it is a little bit of a tribute. It's not like it's an actual antique or classic kit of any kind. Do have a little bit of a bum arm over here for no reason really. And honestly, it's really cool in its classicness. I do actually like the fact that it is almost shading itself with the greeny blue because of the nice, cool color. I like that a lot. So wow, actually zooming in on the detail of this, it really gives you a lot of respect for how far Bandai has come. This is just all very, how to say, like softly molded detail. There's nothing too crispy or anything like that to it. Overall, the detail is extremely, extremely limited, but all the kind of necessary kind of detail beats are there. It's extremely hard to like because it's, well, shiny and lacking any kind of detail, but you know, we do have the kind of little V on the crotch right there, the vents in the chest. It's very old school shaped again, just like the revival version. If you haven't seen the review of that, that is a widely available product and that comes in color, but does retain the classic kind of look that this kit does have. But it is nice to see just kind of historically what would have came out first when it comes to the RX-78-2 kit. It's come so far, man. Look at those seams on the legs. Those are incredible. They almost look like they're meant to be there because they're so raised. Now, I did actually clean up the seams in 2 aspects, just to kind of give you an idea of what would happen. That is the forearm right here. Again, like I said, I just built this kit fairly quickly. The glue didn't really, or should I say the cement didn't actually cure fully. But if you do actually let it cure, make sure it globs through very well, you will completely fuse the seam together, and then when you sand it down, you will end up with a nice smooth surface just like so. I did it a little bit on the knee as well, and as you can see, it ends up really nice. So it would be nice to actually spend a little bit more time on this once it is fully dry to just kind of remove all of those. Again, not a hard job. I just used 600 grit sanding sticks, then 800, then 1200. Overall, looking good. Anyway, a little bit of a comparison. This right here isn't a true history of Gunpla right here lined up. It's more a kind of just points in time, I guess. First off, we've got the high-grade Revive, which is fairly recent. I think it's from 2015, apparently. And what we've got right here is the real grade 2.0 that just came out last year. So as you can see, it's gone so far, especially if you take the real grade, which also is a 1/44th scale kit. So it seems like Bandai does take some liberties with what they think 1/44th scale is, because they're not the same height at all. But anyway, there they are side by side, and it's come so far in the last 45 years. It is incredible. Full color, full detail, beyond what it's ever looked like in animation. It looks so good. I can't wait to see what we'll be getting from Gunpla in another 45 years. As for another size comparison, there it is beside a master grade kit as well as a perfect grade kit. Now, again, this isn't a true history of Gunpla because there is multiple master grades out there. This is the 3.0. It's not even the most recent, I don't think, but it is the most detailed. The perfect grade right there, that is the perfect grade unleashed. So there is a standard perfect grade as well. So there's tons of RX-78-2s out there. This is just a little bit of a taste. So now jumping into the accessories, and here's everything that comes with, and I guess would have come with, the original 1980 Gundam. So what we get in here is the usual sword, board, and beam rifle, a little bit different because instead of 2 beam sabers, we've got 4. The board is your standard Gundam shield, although in just the single color. And finally, we do have the beam rifle again in white, not in the actual grey and yellow that it should be in. So yeah, first up there is the old thing of compatibility. This doesn't seem like, well, it definitely isn't compatible with any more modern kits. The holes in the hands are just circles as opposed to the kind of rectangles we have nowadays. The backpack does not come off, so we don't have the backpack adapter. However, if I'm not mistaken, the revival version does. And the hands in here, there is no options. You can't actually take them off, but they do rotate ever so slightly as long as you don't glue them in position. When it comes to the beam sabers, they apparently just pop into the hands just like so. That isn't even coming through the other side. There we go. So yeah, they pop into the hands just like so, easy as. They look a little bit more like a baton. They're super short. Actually, they may as well have put in like a double length on as opposed to, well, never mind, 2 small ones. As for the reason why we've got 4, well, that is so you can pop them away in the backpack right here, the usual kind of way. Now, to do that, you need to grab one of these, snip it off at about 1 centimeter. I'm just going to guesstimate that around there. So you snip it off like so, and then that should just pop on in here like that. Actually, that fits in fairly satisfactorily. So there you go. That is the beam sabers, or how they were back then. Next up in here we have the beam rifle, and the detail on here is not that bad. If we actually gave this a bit of a painting up, it would look pretty good. The only thing that is a little bit on the funny side is the handle being a little bit of a knob like this. But I guess that's not really something you're going to see once you get it popped on into the hand, and it pops on, whoa, really badly. Look at that. Okay, it kind of depends on how you put it, I guess. But yeah, it's kind of just hanging in there. There is no kind of additional parts or bits on this to mount the beam rifle onto the backpack or the shield, but again, that's not so bad. Speaking of the shield, that is what we're going to be taking a look at next. There is the front again, the detail on it's not too bad. Around back, it is a little bit simpler, but if you spray that in grey, to just kind of separate it from the white edges and the red, it would look good. Anyway, there is the handle right there. It's not a full handle, it kind of looks like it pops in via pressure. And let's try that out, so it should just pop in. Ooh, I might take a little bit of a push. A lot of bit of a push. Oh, there we go. So it does snap in pretty tight, which is good. So then it just closes up onto the arm like that. And again, not too bad. There is no other mounting fixtures on this to attach it onto the backpack. For some reason, I do have a bit of a loose arm here. You could just tighten that up with a little bit of joint tightener or something inside there. Again, it's not as disassemblable as your standard Gunpla kit, but overall, not too bad. Alright, so, well, it's onto the articulation and well, what can I say? The build of this is going to be what you put into it, really. The shoulder right here is just funky for no real reason. This one right here is absolutely fine. Actually, there's a little bit of a drop and the hips are super tight. But overall, again, this is more of a display kind of piece as opposed to something you could really pose. But as for what it can do, let's test out the usual pose. Yeah, there isn't really much movement to any of the joints on this whatsoever. They're all one-dimensional, they don't go in any other kind of dimension, and they're all very, very limited, especially at the waist and everywhere, really. So this is what I got, and this, just so you know, in case you're not familiar, this is the usual pose that I do. It's a bit of a lunge, it looks like that. This is the best you can get out of this kit again. Gundam kits have come so far. I don't think I can ever complain about articulation on a kit again after seeing this. So anyway, that right there is it for the video, and all I can say is this is so much fun. It really gives you a lot of perspective as to how far Gundam model kits has come and how much Bandai has put into the engineering and design from something so simple like this right here to what they make nowadays. It is incredible. As for where you can get one of these, I do not know. I was lucky enough to actually get one in just a random box I bought for a little bit of fun. I thought it was just the revival version, which is widely available, so it's similar to this. But there's just something so nice about actually seeing and building the first ever kit. Again, it gives a lot of perspective and a lot of respect for what model kits and Gundam model kits are like today. Anyway, yeah, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to come back for more Gundam model kit reviews and videos, and I'll see you next time. As always, I cannot finish this video right here without thanking every single one of you guys for watching, and special thanks to those who support me on both the channel memberships as well as on Patreon, including Simon, Scotty Thomas, Abraxas, RG59061, Joe, Vanfon, and Caleb Engelhardt.